Hi guys, welcome to Gameroom. We have Pratik with us today. He's one of the co-founders of Neuron Energy, which is a battery company which supplies batteries to electric vehicles. So I will let Pratik introduce a little bit more in terms of what Neuron Energy does, and then maybe we can take it from there.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us over. I'm the co founder of Neuron Energy. We are into manufacturing batteries for electric mobility, focusing mainly on micro mobility, that is, electric two wheelers and three wheelers. And now we are slowly expanding into electric energy storage systems and playing a larger role in the entire energy transition space in India today.
Okay, great. So Pratik, I believe that you yourself come from a business background, family background of which is into business. So what made you? So can you give me throw a little bit more light in terms of who all are there in your family? What businesses they are in, and then maybe.
We are a joint family today. My grandfather started being the first generation entrepreneur, and he built the real estate development business. And after that, my dad, my uncle, all of them are in the same business. Today, in our immediate family, it's me, my dad, my brother, younger brother, who continues to be in real estate development, and my wife, Kinneri. And currently, I ventured out in 2018 to I was initially there were no plans to do electric mobility per se, and electric vehicles back then in 2015-16 was a buzzword. So we were looking at waste management, clean tech, solar, and then we happened to come across some people and we got introduced into electric mobility. So that's been our journey into the space so far.
Okay. But what made you not जैसे आपकी पूरी family your granddad then उसके बाद your dad your younger brother also is into real estate business so why move away I mean why not continue with the tradition.
So, real estate is doing well. They continue to do well and grow that business. But real estate predominantly is a local business where you are playing a larger role in developing a community within a suburb, and then you grow from there, so on and so forth. In 80s and 90s, real estate development had a larger role where you were building cities, and India per se had two, three major cities back then. And real estate played that very large role in urbanization and putting around 40, 50 cities on the map today. But that's largely been done if you talk about today. So the scope of real estate development today in Bombay predominantly is limited to redevelopment of the older buildings. And doing that, you are not beyond that changing the entire scape of the city so far. So we thought that I thought personally thought we wanted to do something else, which is more meaningful and also has a larger impact at a national level. So we predominantly never thought that there was no plan to get into electric mobility per se, but we started off exploring various avenues like solar, LEDs, and then go into clean waste management or clean energy, and that's how we got introduced to batteries. So that's been the journey which made me decide that I wanted to do something else. Also, I did my master's in finance from US. So in 2010, 9, 10, I was there and came back in 11. So that exposure also allowed me to think beyond the family business and go beyond it and build something else. So I would still say that we are lucky to be in this industry, and our timing was also out of luck, but it was not planned at all. But yes, this is giving us far better growth opportunities, visibility than the family real estate development business right now.
तो जब आप यूएस गए थे was that the first time you had ventured out of home and staying on your own कि कैसा
Yes, first time. So I was in Ruia. I did my junior college. I was in Ruia College in Matunga.
Okay.
Then I was in NMIMS where I did my MBA Tech. So MBA Tech dual degree program with MBA and finance in it. उसके बाद I thought I'll do something else, go abroad or add up on a degree there. So I applied for masters in finance in US. Bad time to go because I went in 2009, considering the 2008 crash.
Yeah.
So went in 2009, finished that up, and
Which
then
institute you go to?
I went to University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
Okay.
Did my masters of finance from there,
Sure.
and I came back in 2011. And then I briefly worked with Jones Lang LaSalle, part of their strategic consulting team, which was also into real estate advisory, but more on the financial side, where you are looking at valuations and fundraise for real estate developers.
But आपने जो so I want to understand more because honestly when I also so मैंने जब schooling की थी I belong to a place named Bilaspur from Chhattisgarh and I was born and raised and then उसके बाद I lived in the family again a joint family till my class 12th तो फिर काफ़ी सोच और I mean नज़रिया काफ़ी एकदम shallow था बट द मोमेंट सो मैं तो यूएस नहीं गया था बट मैं पुणे गया था बट व्हेन आई मूव टू पुणे एंड इवन दो आई वाज डूइंग बीकॉम और एमबीए आई मीन आई फेल्ट दैट माय माइंड ओपनड अप क्वाइट अ बिट लुकिंग एट थिंग्स अराउंड so how was that period for you? I mean because beyond the cats also you learned a lot more because you said that that is what gave you the thinking कि अरे यार मैं beyond my own business भी कुछ कर सकता हूँ.
So there was one, I mean, we were pretty open about you can do what you want to in my family. So that pressure was never there.
Sure.
Second is there was only one thing that the parents expected that my younger brother also was in US with me. So they expected that both the kids should come back to Bombay or India. Ki, you settle here rather than settling there. That was one pressure that we had going there. We explored jobs and all. Luckily, we didn't get jobs because I was in finance and 2010 was a bad time for the industry.
Yeah.
And so then we moved back. But my younger brother always wanted to move back.
Achha.
So that pressure was there to come back. But beyond that, there was no other thing that this is what you have to do or anything. We were, in fact, I worked after that. I was in JLL for 2-3 years. So it was very open that you can do what you feel like. So that getting into real estate only was never the motto or the idea of the family per se.
Okay.
So it was not that narrow in terms of this is what's going to be your path. But beyond that, yeah, they wanted us to be back here. And I'm happy that I'm back here because the opportunities here right now are immense. So that way it's played out well.
अच्छा बट आपका एक्सपीरियंस कैसा था वो 2 साल when you were staying in US out of, away from your family etc.
For me, good experience because per se I had stayed with the family till I was 22 when I went there. So I never lived alone. So made me more independent. I think it obviously helped my decision making also because you do your daily tasks on your own and or there's no one around you to help you out with that. So I think it shaped it helps build your self-confidence. One thing that's certain is it helps build your self-confidence. Second is it helps you become more independent, think beyond normalcy. Also, it gives you some form of confidence in terms that you can survive irrespective if anyone's around, not around. I was not working there. I was in a college. So to an extent, it gets netted. Because you have friends around, you are living with them and all of that. So that kind of social fabric gets created. But I didn't have the experience to work there. So maybe that would have been different completely.
Okay. How was your childhood like? I mean, when you were growing up in your family, I think because the family had their own business, was it? Because usually क्या होता है कि when you are growing up in a joint family, you are either too protected or too exposed, right? But I believe that from your family background standpoint, it seemed that you guys did live a comfortable life, or how was it growing up?
We did live a comfortable life, not a very luxurious life, but we lived a very comfortable life. So I wouldn't say that the childhood was, I mean, for me was school and then going into a better institute. So that pressure was always there that, you should attend a good college and attend a good university and so on and so forth. But very normal childhood. I used to play golf. So summers was only playing golf. So from fifth standard to 10th was the summers was full of playing golf, and beyond that, academically you have to excel. So that's pretty much it. I think I had a very comfortable childhood, to say.
Okay. So why I asked you that, because I mean, when I was watching a podcast wherein people the investor community was talking about the kind of entrepreneurs they want to back, and they usually tend to lean more towards entrepreneurs who would have gone through a hardship, or I mean, और फॉर द लैक ऑफ बेटर वर्ड लैक ऑफ रिसोर्सेज अराउंड, क्योंकि उनको जनरली परसेप्शन रहता है कि ऐसे अगर ऐसे कोई एंटरप्रेन्योर है हु इज literally working towards putting food on the table will run faster than the ones who come from a slightly privileged background. तो आपका ये मतलब इस थॉट प्रोसेस पे क्या मतलब
I think it's a correct thought process, but I think it is not about. I think I'll go a step deeper. It is not about someone having hardships or someone wanting to put food on the table. The assumption here is hunger. That's the underlying assumption here.
Yeah.
That, and I feel that hunger to grow or hunger to build something is beyond hardships or beyond food on the table. There may be an instance where someone is doing it out of hunger, but once he grows and that hardship goes away, will he continue to have that hunger? Is another question mark. So I feel what investors look at, see, when they're betting, the person is new, the company is very raw, so it's a bet eventually. So they need to have some kind of ideas in mind to put that thing on the table. And most of the entrepreneurs today, they are backing a very young, who are not completely mature in terms of their thought processes, etc. So they think that this will work better, but I think what they're bidding on more is hunger rather than anything else. So I don't think there can be one rule that, someone coming from a privileged background, yes, there may be a chance that most of them are not hungry, but it's not necessary that that hunger might not be there to build. So I think that's predominantly their take on things rather than.
So what are you most hungry about? I mean, when you started the business, what was there in your mind? I think you spoke about impact. लेकिन ऐसा क्या आप end goal chase कर रहे हो, which keeps you going?
So I would say this business happened to us. It was never planned, but I always wanted to build something. It was way back in college also. So whether I worked somewhere for 2 years and I joined my family business also for 2-3 years, and then I tried to do something else. So I have had experience being in a corporate environment. I have had experience of working in a family business, and then I've started a startup. So it's come more from the fact that I wanted to build something. I think trying to build something at the age of 29-30 is better than trying to build at 21-22. Probably I didn't understand half the things back then. So that maturity comes in with exposure. And since then, EV mobility happened to us. We happened to be at the right place at the right time. But yes, many things after that we did correctly in terms of building the right product, understanding and sticking to our values of transparency, quality, and ensuring that we are honest with our consumers. So EV allowed us to have that opportunity where we could just sell everything and anything, and people would buy it because there was no awareness. But we were honest. We didn't look to make random profits at the expense of selling an inferior products. So all of those things come from, I think, a background or an experience. But wanting to build a business has been, I would say, a very something that been with me since schools or college. Or I probably didn't want to do engineering, so I did MBA Tech, which was a balanced course of engineering with MBA. So I wanted to be on the business side back then also, but that time there were no such courses available in India. BBA also started very late after our batches passed out. So we had BMS and we had other courses like BCom, one more on the commerce side and accounting side. But there was no business courses in undergraduate life that we had back then. So this allowed me to apply for MBA Tech, was where I would have engineering exposure for 2.5 years only, and then it would be the business exposure. So having being exposed to different kind of businesses was very early. So we were 19, 20 in college, and we were part of the same MBA college in NMIMS. So we were talking to people there who were 25, 26, worked in banks, come back and doing the course. So that exposure helped us think about business more. And I wanted to just sharpen on the finance side. That's why I did masters in finance. But it was always that I wanted to do something. It could have been real estate. It happened to be EV mobility, but that was the idea.
So you said that you have done three things, right? Working for somebody, working for your family, and now working for your own self. So what is the biggest difference you have seen while doing these three things?
So, working, I was very young when I
Ah.
was in the corporate job. So, it was a base level. I was in senior executive or assistant general manager role. So, I was not very exposed to strategies per se. It was more task
क्या
oriented.
काम था वहाँ पे?
So, we were doing strategic consulting.
अच्छा.
So, for developers, if they have a plot, whether they should make a residential building here, a mall here, a commercial here, what will work better? What is the sales they will get there? That basic kind of a feasibility study was one. Second is valuation of their assets, that what should be the value based on the benchmarking and all. So that was a base level functional job in terms of doing that. But it gave me a lot of exposure because JLL was a global company. So they had global mandates that if a US company comes to India, they will go for a transaction in real estate only through them. So it allowed us to talk to those companies, what is happening there, what is happening in Singapore, because this office was heading Asia Pacific. So what is happening in Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia. Secondly, we were heading the West India office. So we used to travel a lot to Indore, Bhopal, Goa, Gujarat, where the projects were being run, and giving very good insights in those micro markets. So that exposure at the age of 21, 22, 23 is where 22, 23 is where I joined JLL. Helped me understand and gave me the correct exposure. So that would not have been possible in a family business. It would not be possible in a startup also initially, because you're trying to build something, you won't have that exposure. So that kind of exposure only a corporate who's running a large show can give it to you.
मतलब the processes, the grandeur, the scale,
The
all
scale,
those things.
and yeah, exposure to different micro markets.
Ah.
Real estate works differently from one suburb to the other suburb.
Correct,
right?
correct.
So in India, every city has a different structure to the real estate there. So that helped me. That was a takeaway from that job there. Family business is predominantly run from what the family needs per se, right? And a lot of calls family businesses take are dependent on the founder's age as well. So eventually, a family business will stop taking very aggressive calls after a while, after being settled, because then it's a risk to the dependency of the family per se. So that was something that it doesn't run as a corporate which is trying to build, grow market share and all of that. It runs predominantly to feed the family, to grow the family, and ensure that family assets are safe. And projects and everything, whether it's real estate or any other company, I have a lot of friends who have family businesses. They run in a manner that the need of the family is taken care of at particular junctions, and random risks are not taken, so on and so forth. Startup was it's been a completely different ballgame, like starting something completely from scratch. We struggled a lot for 2-3 years trying to build our name in the marketplace. Plus, the EV space is a really funny space. It has incumbents, which are the top 10 companies in India, part of that. Then you have startups like us, and then you have other players which we are trying to replace. So, and they are also large corporates. So it's a very difficult space to survive and build your own product and create your own niche. because other startups where they are getting into don't have very heavy incumbents. Even if they have incumbents, the space is so open that you will have yours available. Like you can say fashion. Yeah, fashion has larger brands, but that is a very fractional market when it comes to brands. There are 20 brands, 10 brands. It's a difficult thing to build that also, but it's not a closed market. But when you talk about the auto industry, you have only 4 or 5 major players, and it's a very closed loop industry. So you are not only competing with them, you are also competing with many auto component players which have been there for the last 30, 40 years supplying to ICE vehicles. And then you are selling batteries, which is replacing the business of HPCL, BPCL, refineries, which have nothing to do with auto per se. They are the fuel companies which we are replacing. So randomly the demand is it's a very close knit system where competition is at various levels, and majority of the players are looking at this space. Also it has size, so if it has size, then it will attract larger capitals, larger corporates. They will get interested in coming into this segment. So surviving in EVs has been on and off, plus government policies are being drafted. So as we speak about FAME subsidy and all of that, so it becomes very challenging that you can build your business in a very mature manner where there is traceability of last 20 years available. This is how business is done. Here we are trying to figure out how it's done. So that is where the challenge in. I probably chose a tougher field. So this journey has been completely different. But having said that, you get exposure to the government. You can sit with the government today and become at even a small level, like a small company like us can probably take part in the policy level decisions that this is our feedback about what the industry should be. So that's a larger takeaway from mobility, electric mobility per se. But startup is interesting. I think if we build on from here, it will get better.
How important is तो जब आप मतलब I believe that उसकी before starting your own, the previous two exposure which you had, like family business and a job, what are the key takeaways you took from those kind of stints which has helped you build your own company?
So I would say when it came to the corporate job I had, the takeaway would be discipline and processes. So they had strong processes to run a 500 people team, 600 people team, deliverables, the hierarchies were maintained, all of that. So that would be a large takeaway. If you're building a large organization, eventually you cannot be the person doing everything. So you'll have to build those processes. So that takeaway was very helpful for me to actually implement now as our team is growing, how to build those processes, how to use technology to do things. Second would be discipline, that how disciplined can you be in terms of your deliverables daily, and ensuring that those deliverables are cataloged and documented. So from the corporate environment, these two things I would say. From the family business, it would be your courage, your risk-taking ability, and how you look at business. And the biggest takeaway from the family business would be people management. So how you build relationships with people on the business side and ensure that those relationships take care of your business moving forward. So at the corporate level, since it was a very I was at a lower level, I was not exposed to relationship building up a lot. But in the family business, yes, I would say risk taking and relationship building is what I would take away. And also how decision making in terms of when you're taking a decision, what should you prioritize? So in the startup space, I've always prioritized continuity of the business while taking any decision. That sometimes you might have an order which has lesser gross margin in it. Sometimes the customer is demanding too much and you might have to give something away without making much profits first 2-3 times. So it was always that you should value continuity. If we survive for long, we will be successful. So the idea is survival at every decision making, that we have to survive. So that I think has come, that decision making has been molded from the family business point of view. that tomorrow will come and we'll make money there, but today this is how you have to take the decision.
अच्छा, okay. So आपकी I mean as a person, what is Pratik, and then उसके बाद how much of that reflects in your business today? मतलब so I'll tell you where I'm coming from. जैसे for example मेरे business में we have 3 co-founders, and the construct of the company, जब आप किसी भी employee से बात करोगे, so the ideologies, the values which they carry, I think somewhere percolates from the personality types of the people who are running the business as well. So how much has it helped with you being the kind of person? Because I think you mentioned before when we were chatting, you mentioned that right now you although you have a co-founder, but I think you are running the business right now. So how much of it reflects in the way the organization has grown, and where does it restrict the growth of the company?
So I would say that we have a certain value system that we have been sure that we want to reflect out from our brand. I think it's the other way around, where we have thought of certain things that we want to do, very specifically thought that we want to do, and we will do only that. We will not bend on those qualities and things. So there are 4 things mentioned there. One is service, second is trust, third is integrity, and fourth is transparency. So these are the 4 things that we were very clear that we will be honest with our consumer even at the expense of P&L. And we will build the company from these 4 pillars only. Brand building takes really long time. I mean, I feel if the brand survives 20 years, it becomes a brand. Right? If it is there for 20 years, and then you have this brand stands for this and that is the actions that they have taken become the key USPs of that brand per se. It's never the other way around. So we were very clear that these 4 factors we want to be clear upon. So when 4-5 years back, people were selling a lot of electric 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler batteries. Many were catching fire. So they were purposely using cheaper cells, B grade cells, C grade cells, just to compete in the market and provide the battery at a price to the consumer. The consumer also was demanding these batteries at a certain rate. Having said that, there was lack of awareness on the side of the consumer as well, the OEMs as well, because they were not, they had to compete with ICE vehicles and they had to compete with other EV vehicles also. And EV comes at a premium to ICE. So there was a tremendous pressure to give an inferior product at a certain price point to match a price point. There is no way you can match that price point with a quality product. So we decided we'll not do that, come what may. We will use only A grade cells. We will use a certain type of a BMS, which India was not using back then. So we introduced the smart BMS into India. And we will use certain quality products only. And then we took that product and went to the OEMs. So they said that we bet on LFP as a chemistry over NMC. So it's a technical thing where LFP works better in tropical climates compared to NMC. But China uses NMC because they have colder climate than us. So India started using NMC as is. So we pitched this to the consumers. They found it really difficult. Luckily for us, May 2022, there were a lot of fires reported on the electric bikes and all of that. So then government said we'll have to build standards. You can't sell anything on the road. It's a road safety issue. So they came out. So we had given a lecture in Columbia Business School in August 2022, where Mr. Randir Singh happened to be on that lecture, who was the Niti Aayog director. So then we spoke about how a battery pack should be designed and all of that, and that was taken into the policy. So we were very clear into the AIS phase 2 amendment 3 phase 2 policy that is built for the battery pack design that was taken in. So we were very clear that we will take these values and put it there, and we have not we have gone wrong also. Where during COVID we had imported batteries for around 1.5 CR and they didn't work, and we sold it to rickshawalas. So the rickshaw drivers, if the battery doesn't work, he goes home hungry. So that is when we realized it's a very sensitive issue affecting daily life of a consumer. It's technically their livelihood depends on it. So we had to replace all of them overnight, which we honored, and gave them batteries, replaced it. We called the other brand they supported also, and replaced all of them. So we learned from there that today all of them are buying from us. That they are like, if you honored this, then nothing beyond this can be, some batteries may fall or something, lot cannot fail again. So we are happy to support. So we've built that over time. That has taken a P&L hit. We have honored that. But so we have been very clear that this is the value set we will build the brand with. And yes, that's the value set we have always lived by also. So even when it comes to the family or everyone, it's more quality driven rather than profit. So that's something that's probably subconsciously imbibed in us, and it's something that we are comfortable selling in the market as well. We are not a price player selling inferior. That's not how we want to be known as. That's the idea of the growth so far.
बट प्रतीक, आप इसको एक स्ट्रेंथ के रूप में देखते हो कि इट कैन ऑल्सो समटाइम्स बी वीकनेस? बिकॉज आई एम अज्यूमिंग द वैल्यू सिस्टम विच यू जस्ट स्पोक अबाउट, आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि आपका जो पर्सनल लाइफ होगा वुड ऑलमोस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट द सेम वैल्यूज.
Pretty much, yes.
सो बेसिकली आप जो पर्सनल लाइफ की पर्सनैलिटी है वो आप बिजनेस में ट्रांसलेट किए हो, राइट?
Yes, yes.
So can this be because what we have started seeing also is that there are a lot of founders who start companies with certain value system, and the companies fail because of lack of corporate governance as well. So you think it can be sometimes a strength as well as sometimes a weakness as well, because the founder does not carry such strong values, because of which the company also failed.
See, it depends. Corporate governance per se, I don't think has anything here to do with, in our case, because it's a transparently run company, pretty transparent with investors.
Which has a strong corporate governance.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm
So
saying is that
yeah.
weak corporate governance will also be a reflection of somebody's personal personality as well, right?
So no, we are that way very well run, properly transparent organization, and we have had multiple investor rounds. So that has helped us become more disciplined, I would say. The due diligences have been done at every 6 months, 12 months. So that has been the case so far. But see, we are not really a lifestyle company.
Exactly.
We are not really a direct to consumer company. In fact, the product that we are making, you will not even see that product, right? It's a battery inside a vehicle. You will see the vehicle. So there are no value systems in terms of that we need to create for a founder's personality, that they will relate to the brand from the founder or anything point of view. What we are making is a functional product, a technologically advancing functional product, which should work. However, if it doesn't work, you will feel it, that, oh, the battery is, because the battery is not working, the vehicle is not working. Beyond that, we don't need to build a cult around anything else. So the companies run in a particular manner where we want to better the products that we are selling, and whoever has bought our products need to be served better than what we are doing today. So that is part of the continuous improvement that we need to do. We also want to play a larger role in energy transition. So how, apart from mobility, what other things can we do wherein the traditional fossil fuels can be replaced with newer technology? It could be lithium, sodium, hydrogen, it could be anything. But that's the idea behind it. So I would say we are boring that way when it comes to having a cult leader or not having. We are that way pretty much a standard company where we are trying to build good products, trying to advance with R&D. But yes, we are aggressive where we need to be in the business. And I think our strong point Neuron's strong point per se has been relationship building, where we have been able to build very deep relations with our consumers, with our customers. So that has helped us bring that stickiness in. So that's been predominantly thing. So I don't think for us per se, this really doesn't matter. That yes, value system is important, I feel, in any business. And the entire, the value system was built that whenever the service engineer or the salesperson also goes and meets any customer, he speaks the same thing that the management speaks. that is about trust, transparency, quality, and so forth. So that's why the value system was built, that this is what we will be. Today we are trying to grow. So maybe if we survive 20 years, they will say, oh, this is the company that stands for this things. But that's the idea. Beyond that, we don't intend to have any founders' influence on people and all. But yes, I mean, informally, there might be, if we are growing and doing better, then there might be takeaways that people take from each other, I
Yeah.
guess. That, oh, this is how this person is doing this thing, and I'll take that. But beyond that, I don't see any influence or Neuron's pretty much not been out there also in terms of the PR also. So we have been pretty guarded about how we want to go about that.
So I'm not referring to the external influence. What I'm saying is that so I'll give you a very simple analogy कि अगर एक मूवी में एक हीरो है और एक विलन है, दोनों villain has always wrong intentions, wrong motives of doing things. Hero has always right intention and strong motives of doing things. अब उन दोनों का वो दोनों लोग जब अपनी कंपनी चालू करेंगे तो फिर दे विल हैव वेरी डिफरेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ रनिंग द कंपनी एंड they might find similar minded people, like minded people to get attached and then uske run the company. So when I mention corporate governance, what I'm trying to say is that so it's like a character can be good also as well as bad. So अब जैसे अभी आज की डेट में आप एक वैल्यू सिस्टम जैसे आप लोग ने बैटरीज चेंज की फॉर द रिक्शा वाला गोइंग बियॉन्ड थिंकिंग ओनली प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी which will make you the business continue for a longer period of time. So but at the same time there are a lot of companies who keep taking shortcuts and sometimes क्या होता है कि founders easily blame the team कि यार मतलब इसने किया था I can't take the bullet for it. But the founder has to take the bullet for it because there is nothing in the company which can happen beyond their supervision. तो आपको लगता है कि इट इज आई मीन डू यू ट्रूली बिलीव बट एट द सेम टाइम मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि माई क्वेश्चन इज डू यू नीड टू बी अ गुड पर्सन फॉर यू टू बी एबल टू बिल्ड अ सक्सेसफुल कंपनी
I think yes. Not. I think we'll have to define the good, but the idea should be, the intent should be clear that you're trying to build something good. There will be market challenges that will come. There will be technological challenges that will come. But there are certain things that are a given. That integrity is given. That integrity should be in place. Transparency, honesty is given. What you're selling is what you're saying. So all those things are a given where it should be a non-negotiable per se. Beyond that, what you're building, how you intend to build, what kind of personality that the founder might have. We have seen a lot of people having different kind of personalities building good businesses and clean businesses.
Yeah.
So you will have had mercurial founders also being very successful. And you have had people who have been very reserved also building good businesses. So I think there can't be one rule. But yes, integrity, honesty, what you are selling should be what it should be. Those things I think are non-negotiable, especially today, because today's awareness levels are far higher than 20 years, 10 years ago. So without this, today's customer also is very impatient. Very aware and very impatient. So it's very difficult to really please that consumer and ensure that you are serving them in the right manner. So that comes in as a big challenge. Even if anything you do non-intentionally gets highlighted on social media or anywhere. Earlier that platform was not available. So brands could get away with some mistakes. Today, any mistake is being exposed. It could be a human error in processing, could be anything, not intending to sell something wrong. But it still gets highlighted. So brand building today is challenging, very challenging. Having consumers with you is very challenging. So it will take a lot more efforts, a lot more money to ensure that you have that loyalty base with you. But it has to come from a core non-negotiable things that everyone will intend to do.
Great. How has Pratik changed as a person? I mean, when you started a business versus what where you are today?
I think lot more mature than what I was 6 years ago. In terms of quality, I would say that self confidence building is a significant thing that helps with a successful journey. That you feel that चलो ये नहीं भी हुआ तो कुछ और कर लेंगे. We'll manage somehow or the other. Decision making improves. Earlier, I would say we were more impulsive with our decisions and we were reacting to everything that was coming our way. Oh, this is going wrong, let's do this. This is going wrong, let's do that. So, that impulsiveness has been toned down significantly. We are, I would say, conversations with investors also help you do this a lot. When they say that we are backing you, don't be impulsive, think on the longer goal that this is what we intend to achieve. If something transactionally goes wrong, it's okay. So I would say that overall, the personality has shifted from thinking on long-term goals from a transactional point of view. And Neuron also as a brand, when we were building I think we were very transactional when we started out.
Achha.
We were only looking at 1 quarter, 2 quarters, or we were looking at this year we'll do this. Now we are looking at a larger goal that this is the next 10-year plan, 15-year plan. So smaller impulsiveness gets significantly toned down in the business, and you learn that things go wrong, it's okay. So earlier when they were going wrong, you were reacting and firefighting to everything. Now it's more about accepting that, okay, this can happen, this is how we will manage it. So that I think can only come from experience. It's not something that you can start with.
How long you've been married now?
We've been married for 8 years. 2016, I got married in
So
2000.
does your wife also tell you that you have changed as a person?
Not yet. Not yet. She feels that work-life balance does not exist. But yeah, I mean, I feel decision making in office has definitely changed.
Acha, okay, all right. And so now that you have touched upon this whole work-life balance thing, we've been hearing about a lot about this 70-hour week, 90-hour week, and then people keep trolling, L&Ts or Infosys of the world. So what's your view about this all? I mean, because you are building a young company which is looking to make the mark, have a deeper penetration in the market. What's your view? I mean, do you think we should move towards a direction which European countries are following, wherein people are talking about 4 days work week, etc., etc.? What do you think about this?
I feel it's very difficult to generalize it. It could be a case-to-case basis. I can speak for my startup. So if we have a 4-day work week, we will not grow. Big issue. Our customers are auto companies. So again, it is the nature of the business also. So our customers are auto companies which have 3 shifts. They run plants 24 hours. On Saturdays also, Sundays also. Their plant shuts for maintenance probably once in a quarter. So they expect deliveries on Saturday, they expect deliveries on Sunday. So, and their assembly runs throughout. So we have to model our business that way. If we shut down on Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if we tell our customers that we can't deliver because we are following work-life balance, they will go to someone else. So it is driven by the company, the nature and the structure you are part of or the market you are part of. Our service centers are 24/7 because customers today, let's say you have bought a scooter with a battery and it's shut down on a weekend, Friday, and you call our customer center that I am stuck on the road, help me out. And we tell you that, see, we are following work-life balance and Thursday, आपको Monday को attend करेंगे. You will say, Monday attend करेंगे, but today I am stuck on the road, what do I do about it? So we cannot do that. We cannot go at that junction at all. So having said that, we do have Saturdays of second and fourth Saturday off in our office. So that's an off. HODs predominantly work. They are working from home, they are doing that. But we have a good ESOP pool to encourage them so that they feel that they are not really employees of the company, but they are owners of the company. So if they work, the shares goes up, they make money as well. So there is an incentive there. but it's not put upon them, right? So whenever they take up the job, it's very clearly told to them, this is what the requirement of the business is. If you are ready, take it up. If you're not ready, there are many jobs available where you will find that work life
Yeah.
balance also.
Yeah.
So that's an option. But having said that, since you're putting in this extra efforts, the company will honor you with ESOPs and incentives and all. But are you willing to walk the journey is an answer or a decision that the person has to take.
Yeah.
Beyond that, we cannot do much about it. Secondly, as a company, we can't slow down. We are a small company fighting corporates. So if we slow down today, it's going to be a challenge. So scale has its benefits, has its advantages, and the faster we scale will allow us to avail those benefits and advantages. So I believe that scaling is inevitable. If you are in, see, you have signed up for this, right? You have decided you want to build an EV mobility brand or a battery brand. Then today there are 20 lakh scooters. Tomorrow there are 20 crore scooters in India, out of which only 20 lakh are EVs. Government is saying in 5 years you should have 20 crore scooters. So the market is growing at 500,000%. So as a brand, you should also be growing at 200-500% to match the market. So if you're doing that, then it's going to be a challenge if people are not willing to put in those hours or something of that sort. So for us, we are going fast and we are very clear, but we are honest about what is our requirement from those head of divisions or general managers per se.